Hello viewer, welcome to my channel, and today I'll be revisiting the 4 Call of Duty World at War zombie maps. And before I start the video, I'm just gonna give my opinion about the zombies maps, what are my thoughts on them, and if they just generally hold up today. Let's not waste any time and let's just get straight into it. Let's first start from the beginning with Nacht der Untoten, the first ever zombie map we ever got to play. And personally, I think this holds up really well today, as this is easily one of the best zombies maps ever made, since it's literally the first one. Now, you have this feeling of like desperation and hopelessness in this map. It's a pretty common theme across all the other 3 zombie maps as well. Is that you're like the only person here, since in the cutscene your plane crashes in like this random area in the middle of nowhere, and all you could see is just a fog, some trees, and bushes, and the Nazi zombies just closely limping towards you. There's pretty much no way to get out, no way to fully survive this, as you know that you will die eventually in this place. And that's what I really like about the World at War Zombies maps. It gives you this sense of desperation and like this horror vibe. And sure, maybe the whole horror might have changed a little bit throughout the other zombies, as some zombie maps are straight up goofy. However, World of War maps are pretty much horror games, and you cannot tell me that they're not. At least for some of the maps, you cannot say they're at least unsettling at worst. And my only real complaint with Nacht der Untoten is how tight the map is. Since the map is really small, during the later waves, like around like wave 10 or beyond wave 10 or so, there's just so many zombies that are swarming in, and there's pretty much nothing you can do. Unless you have like a shotgun or a really good automatic weapon, you're pretty much done for. Since in World of War Zombies, if you get hit twice, you're dead. You're like more fragile than a china plate or something. And since you pretty much only have one chance to survive, only being hit once, during the later waves, it's pretty much impossible to survive. And that's my only complaint with Nacht der Untoten, is the kind of crampedness of this map. But except for that, really good atmosphere, really good gameplay, a really good start to the Call of Duty Zombies. And also gives like this nice horror vibe. But on the topic of horror, the next map will take horror to the next level. The next map up is Verrückt. And unlike Nacht der Untoten, we have no idea where it takes place. We actually have an idea where this takes place in Berlin, Germany. And if you thought Nacht der Untoten was unsettling at worst, this map takes it to the next level. This gets Nacht der Untoten and punches it to 11. That's how creepy this map is. Now, on your first few playthroughs, you could think this map is just average. It's just a mental asylum. There's nothing really creepy about it. However, if you listen closely, especially if you have headphones on, you can hear screaming of mental patients in the background. And that's just super unsettling. And if you go near the body area, I think you can even hear a baby crying, which is just even more twisted. And just the idea of being in a mental asylum is already creepy enough, but you can just hear the desperation and crying of the mental patients. As the lore of Verrückt is that this was a Nazi experimentation area where they got the mental patients and they did some experiments on them. And there's also a room where there's like this chair with chains, and there's a big drill just soaked in blood. The whole room is practically soaked in blood. And it's straight out of a horror movie. It's like literally straight out of one. And while it is a bit annoying, I also do like the small feature how if you walk in the water, you get blinded by it. Or, well, I wouldn't say blinded is the correct word, but more like disorientate your vision. And it is annoying, but it's a nice small touch. And that's what I like about the World of War Zombies, like I mentioned in the Verrückt section, the Nacht der Untoten section, is that these maps do feel like their own horror experiences. I mean, Verrückt is probably the creepiest one out of them all, but I really do like the colors of this map as well. Not has like this white and like dark gray tone. This map has a more red and orange type of mood, as you can see the building slowly burning on fire. And I do like that fire aspect, and some areas in the map, especially when you get to the second floor, look really nice. And unlike Not, we also get introduced to the power system and Perca-Colas, which are pretty much staples of the Call of Duty franchise. Overall, just like Not, this holds up really well and is easily one of the creepiest things you'll play in gaming. Now let's move on to Shi Nu Numa. And the first thing you'll notice when you play on this map is the random body just chilling on the ceiling, which I find a little funny but creepy at the same time. And another cool thing about the body is that you could just shoot it and he just moves around, which, I mean, it's a bit gruesome, but I find that pretty funny. But anyways, unlike the other two maps, which had Nazi zombies in it, we're actually in Japan for a nice change. And instead of Nazi zombies, it's Japanese zombies. And the lore of this map is that this is also kind of similar to the Asylum in Verrückt. This is another place where they did experiments and stuff in the jungle. I mean, not in the jungle, in the swamp of Japan during the war. And they obviously turned into zombies because something went wrong, typically. And similar to the Verrückt, I really do like the vibe of this map. I pretty much like the vibe of all the maps. I like the tone, and I like the tiki torches in the background, and also how you can go inside the water. And it's just a nice tone, nice change. And like I mentioned, it's a nice change from the Nazis to the Japanese zombies. And at first, I didn't really like Shi Nu Numa because I didn't play it that much. But now since for this video, I've been replaying the maps a couple of times, I do appreciate this map a lot more. And this is the map that introduced us to Hellhounds, which is those dogs that are pains in the ass, bro. These things will jump and lunge towards you at supersonic speed. And like how I mentioned earlier, how you're pretty much a China plate, 2 taps and you're done. For some credit, you do need 3 taps to be downed by a hound, but it's still bad. It's still really rage-inducing at times. And like I mentioned, you can't play multiplayer anymore, so it's just a bit annoying. But Hellhounds are a staple of Call of Duty Zombies, and you can't deny that. And this also has traps, some of the Verrückt, which I forgot to mention, and then the last section, this introduces traps where you can lure zombies into an area and you can either electrocute them or burn them on fire or something like that. Overall, just like the other 2 maps, holds up really well in today's standards, and even Shi Nu Numa got ported to Call of Duty Mobile and their zombies mode, so this is at least popular enough to be included in that. So, like I said, it's just good, holds up really well. It was liked enough to be in Call of Duty Mobile, so yeah, overall, good map. Last up is Der Rise, the final map in Call of Duty World at War Zombies. And honestly, if I'm gonna be for real right now, I would say Der Rise is my favorite zombies map, except for maybe Not, since that's literally the first ever map. It's so nostalgic and iconic, but Der Rise is probably my favorite for many reasons. Is that one, I really like the teleporter, how you could teleport between here and the laboratory at the other side of the map, which I really like. And unlike Not, which is really tight, this feels claustrophobic but also really open at the same time, which just sells the point for me even more. And unlike modern Call of Duty Zombies, where you have to have a whole history degree, a whole PhD, and a whole like military service just to understand how to do one Easter egg, the Easter eggs in this map are nice, simple, and creepy. Like the one where if you shoot, I think at one of the barricades, if you shoot at a specific area, you could get some like lights to fly around, and you get to play hide and seek with a girl, which I find that pretty creepy. And overall, just I was similar to Verrückt, how pretty much the whole place is on shambles, as you could see in the background. The buildings are on fire, and how the whole place is dirty. Pretty much every zombies map is dirty. There's rubble everywhere. There's blood and oil on the floor. Pretty much everything's on fire. And the Nazi zombies are pretty dirty, as we return to the Nazi zombies since we're back in that era. And I also really like the introduction of the monkey bomb, since it was introduced in Der Rise, I'm pretty sure, where it just lures zombies to it. Kind of like the pipe bomb from Left 4 Dead, it's pretty similar to that. And yeah, there's not really much I could say that's similar to everything else I said about the other three zombies maps, but I do really like this map, and it's my favorite one. As I'm pretty sure a lot of people will agree, or at least have it in the top two, since there's really only four maps, that this is easily the best map in the whole zombie. Now, I wouldn't say the whole zombie series, but easily one of the best in the World of War era, and I guess series as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video, and please do make sure to like and subscribe. And if this at least gets 100 views, since I'm a pretty small channel, I might make one for others like Black Ops Zombies or something, because I'm not doing Vanguard Zombies. But yeah, if this does at least decent enough or okay enough, I can make a follow up and give my own thoughts on how well they hold up of other zombies maps. And this might be a bit short, but the reason I made this video was not to overanalyze and give a full detailed documentary about how all the maps are and stuff. I just wanted to see how well they hold up today and just give my thoughts on them. So sorry if you expected for a full documentary about that stuff. But yeah, like and subscribe. I'm trying to get monetized this year, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.